Eddie Hearn confident that he can get the fight done. Hope so. Let's talk.
Push the weight enough flex. Flex alive is one in the six. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga, boof. I'm an 88 pack nigga, boof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Eddie Hearn's confident that he can get the fight done. Boxing scene. Link will be in the description. You already know the drill. Eddie Hearn, promoter of the WBC lightweight champion, the real champion, Devin Haney, is still very confident that he can come together with WBA, WBO, IBF, and franchise champion George Kambosos. Top Rank CEO Bob Arum is also trying to secure Kambosos for former 3-division world champion Vasily Lomachenko. Last year, Kambosos shocked the division when he dropped the decision heavy favorite Teofimo Lopez to capture the unified crown. The Australian boxer is now targeting a ring return, possibly on the date of May or a date in May. It's certainly taking place in Australia. More on that in a second. Both Haney and Lomachenko are willing to travel overseas for the fight. Hearn is currently having productive conversations with Lou DiBella, who promotes Kambosos. The British promoter feels that his boxer is edging ahead of the pack to secure the undisputed title clash. There's a lot of conversation between myself and Lou DiBella. The two promoters were trying to figure out the structure of the deal, international TV, big money, and being generated in Australia, etc. We're in a decent place. I spoke with him this morning, 3 a.m. his time. I think everybody involved wants to make this fight happen. Hearn told the Zone Boxing Show. In that respect, I think we've got a great chance to do so. We're talking about the financials, which will be the make or break part. Devin has no problem going to Australia, obviously, being vaccinated. It's the fight to find the true undisputed champion of the division. Confident we can make the fight because it's the fight that those parties want most. I don't think George wants to wait for anything. He wants the biggest fights and to make as much money as he can. Wow. Waiting around is very dangerous. Strike while it's there, make big fights, the money while it's there. There will always be a cloud over this until that fight happens. You hear what he just said? There will always be a cloud over this until that fight happens. It's one of the best fights in boxing. That is an article. Here's my opinion. That last part, there's always will be a cloud over this until the fight happens. Why? Because they announced that he has the franchise status. So once again, we are confused on something. One moment, the franchise status was not transferable. Remember that? When it was first invented for Canelo Alvarez. And they invented another one for Vasily Lomachenko. The rules were you not only had to meet the standards of the WBC, but you also understood that the title was not transferable. You couldn't lose it in the ring. It is a special privilege, right? Then magically, Teofimo Lopez requested and he got it. Here's my question. Maybe it was answered. Maybe I missed it. You let me know in the comments section. Did George Kambosos request the franchise status? Did he ask for it? Or did he just leave the ring with it? I swore I saw him at a basketball game after he beat Teofimo. And of all belts, he wasn't walking around with the black one, the red one. He was walking around with the green belt. And I said, how could that be? Then what the hell does Devin have? The real green belt. Because he opened up his email and Vasily Lomachenko sent it to him. and that's how he got it. He wanted to fight for it, but let's not forget, let's remain consistent. Vasily Lomachenko did not want to fight Devin Haney. He vacated his WBC strap. Devin picked it up, and he requests the franchise status, according to Mauricio Suleiman. Vasily Lomachenko does a video and says, no, I never requested it. It was given to me. Whether you requested it or it was given to you, you accepted it, Vasily. That happened. So now you had it, and then you lost it because Teofimo requested it. So my question is, did George Kambosos request it? Was there ever an answer? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comment section. So when he says there will always be a cloud over this fight until it happens, that's one of the clouds we're talking about. Another thing, he's been talking with Lou DiBella. George Kambosos just wanted to do the right thing, wanted to fight the best. He says, I'm coming for Devin Haney. Lou DiBella steps in. Now they're shopping around. We're trying to figure out the structure of the deal. International TV, money being generated in Australia, etc. Yeah, about that happening in Australia. I heard they shutting everything down to about 50% capacity. So I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I don't think they will maximize their dollar fighting in Australia. You better come to America while we're still dumb enough to have everything open. Get a date, all right, and make it happen. Atlanta, Miami, Vegas. And I know, understand, Devin was willing to go to Jupiter to fight you. He said that, and he meant it. But the air's bad up there. Ha, ha, ha. Come to the Barclays. Come to Madison Square Garden. Pack the house. But Australia's out. If I'm going to make a gamble, Australia's out. Now they just said in here, we're looking to maximize our dollar pretty much. Structure a deal, right? You're not going to maximize your dollar in Australia at 50% capacity unless you charge for the 50% you're losing, you're going to charge double the amount for your seat. So if you have a $100 seat, right? And it's 50% capacity, what are you going to do? Charge $200 so you can regain that lost revenue? That'd be dumb. You don't want to rob the people. So I'm thinking you need to start shopping around and just take the L, man. We was about to go to Australia, but COVID shut you down. It happens. All right? So they say he's targeting a return. That's great. I don't know how Lomachenko fits in this equation. Why? Who sells more, Lomachenko or Haney? How many pay-per-views has Lomachenko done? The venues in which he performed at. How much did he sell as opposed to Devin Haney? Wait a minute. Y'all want to play the numbers game? Y'all want to play seats game? I know the Lomachenko fans are going to fly in here and say, oh, well, we don't know what, because, Devin fights on DAZN. We can't count. Okay, that may be true. Devin fights on DAZN. It's not pay-per-view. But I know he got deeper pockets than Lomachenko for two reasons. He just simply sells more in a venue. You know what? Let me not say that. Pull up the numbers, and y'all let me know in the comment section. But here's what I do know. Devin Haney's undefeated. Rather than fight Lomachenko for the belt, Lomachenko submitted and just gave up the belt. That's what he did. Lomachenko now has 2 losses. Yes, he does. George, Lomachenko ducked Devin Haney. George, Teofimo Lopez ducked Devin Haney. Here's your opportunity, George, to not only become undisputed and make history. Okay? You can make history here, George. You can fight Devin and do that, or go to Lomachenko route and for less money, risk losing there. Who would you rather lose to, George? Be honest. And let me be very clear. I think Lomachenko and Devin Haney beat you. You can prove me wrong, but I'd rather try with Haney first. Because that makes more sense. It makes more sense financially. And it makes more sense legacy-wise. Fighting Vasily Lomachenko is just a bad money grab. It's hustling backwards. You don't need to do that. The man has lost twice. Fighting him does nothing for your legacy, especially if you mess around and lose. Fighting Haney, at least you can say, well, I fought the best. And you got a majority of the belts, man. Even if you don't get the majority of the money. You know, Devin was about to go to Australia for you. He still might go if y'all decide to have it there. You can also work in what? A rematch clause. So whoever loses will get an immediate rematch to see who really is the man. There's money in this. Devin Haney is the obvious choice. I don't know why y'all are allowing Bob Arum to slide in here and try and insert Vasily Lomachenko in this equation. He doesn't belong. He had his chance, and because of him, we have another franchise status that we don't want to see. This is his fault. Look, you lost. I didn't know you was going to get in there with Teofimo Lopez and decided not to throw a punch until round 6. Who saw that coming? And then after you lose, you blamed everybody but yourself. You blamed Bob Arum. You blamed your shoulder. You blamed the judges. And nobody said, hey, Vasily Lomachenko's making excuses. No one said that. Not even Bob. Wow, but Tim Bradley, he beats Manny Pacquiao in the first fight, and he was calling for an investigation. Ain't that right, Bob? You called for an investigation when Tim Bradley beat Manny Pacquiao. You was calling for that, right? Right? The same Bob Arum that told Terrence Crawford, I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills with the amount of money I lost on you. Meanwhile, you're the promoter. You haven't done right by him. That same Bob Arum. You lost money with Bud, but when Bud was up to fight Manny Pacquiao, you said, I'm not making that fight because I know how it ends, and Manny's a nice guy. You put Manny Pacquiao's friendship ahead of your pockets with the fighter that you allegedly promote, but then you're going to turn around and blame him for not making money for you? We forgot who's the boss in this equation. You are the promoter, which means you promote. You sign these fighters, you promote them. You didn't do that for Bud. You barely did that for Bradley, man. You didn't even do that. You just say, hey, he's fighting Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao, once upon a time, was a product that sold itself. But when he came for Bud, you stopped that. Now, why am I bringing up all of that? Because this same guy is the one throwing Lomachenko's name in his hat, and he don't need to be there. Get Lomachenko out of here. He don't belong. It's Devin Haney's time. And y'all know I'm not an Eddie Hearn fan. But in this aspect, I hope he gets it done. Y'all know what I always say. It's for the greater good. And this ain't no disrespect to George Kambosos. I'm just riding with Haney. That's all. Because of what he's gone through. They've tried to stump this man in every goddamn direction. And I'm tired of it. I was riding with Kambosos to beat Teofimo because that kid would end up being a fraud. He had me fooled and everybody else. So I said Teofimo Lopez losing to George Kambosos was for the greater good. Well, here we are again. George Kambosos versus Devin Haney is for the greater good. Get Lomachenko the F up out of here. Eddie, do what you're supposed to do. Show us how good you are for real. Bronx on deck. Move!